Hi everyone, it's Diane from Boho Stamper. Thanks for stopping by to do a little bit of card making today. Hope you all had a great weekend, and I hope everybody's doing well. Remember that we are in the middle of celebration, and so you can earn free product through August 31st for every $50 or $100 purchase that you make either out of the annual catalog or the mini holiday catalog. Just going to show you the front. I have it opened up to our stamp set today, but there's the front. So when you order your items, it'll come up and tell you before your checkout if you have qualified for free items out of the celebration brochure. So keep an eye out for that. In addition to that, when you shop with Boho Stamper and you use this shopping code for the month of July, which can you believe we're almost over with? Good grief. When you spend that $50, I'm going to share snowflakes, wonderful snowflakes. And, oh, I forgot to pull the holly leaves out. With a $100 order, you can get the snowflakes and some gold holly leaves in addition to your celebration items. So, that's where we're at. Today we're going to play with Window Wishes. And I have 2 cards done, and then a third one that I thought was going to be super simple. Why did I not finish it? Oh, I haven't found a die that I want to put my greeting in yet. That's why. Otherwise, it would be super simple. So let's get started right off the bat. I did kind of an evening outside window and a daytime outside window scene on each of my cards. So we're going to do both of them. Let's see if I can remember where I put all the stuff. So we'll do the daytime one first because it's already right here in front of me, and I do have a lot of my pieces stamped and cut out already. And I'll tell you our colors as we go along. So this is Sahara Sand, and when I first put it together, I wanted to add a little texture to the background, and so I tried the Old World paper embossing folder, and I didn't like what it did to my font. I can't really see my font in there very well with the embossing, and I didn't want to add a dimensional label to it, or a die cut. So I decided, and I already had it put together, to add a little bit of stenciling. And I kind of liked how I did it. I didn't make a complete stencil, I just did it so that it's in spots. So that's what we're going to do on this one. I liked it a lot better once I gave it a little bit of texture or dimension or whatever it is. And it's not texture, so I guess it's just a little bit of dimension. And I'm using one of the Stampin' Up masks. And, oh, I just had those little packages out because I don't really know which one this is out of. I have Adorning Designs and Plenty of Patterns. So it's out of one of those packs. And I am just going to lay this on top. I did already stamp my greeting from our hearts to yours. And I did that in Poppy Parade. Only because I didn't realize I was going to stencil first. Which is why I just started adding the stencil in spots. Although I think I did stencil over the words, the greeting. I just didn't want to get it on my white window frame. There we go. It was stuck on the little heart-shaped pattern there. So I'm just going to lay this on top of my 4 by 5¼ inch piece of Sahara Sand and take one of my blending brushes, some Sahara Sand ink, guess I can move the stamp set out of the way. That'll give me a little bit of room here so I don't put ink all over everything. I'm going to add ink to my brush and then tap it off a little bit because I don't want to have splotchy marks on my, my light's still terrible, sorry, on my card front. And then I'm just going to lightly stencil in some spots. I'm not going to try to make it uniform and even. And I'm not going to do too much in the center because I don't really want too much design in the middle. We're going to add a piece of vellum. There we go. And I'm just going to use a baby wipe and wipe off the ink from that, and it's ready for the next time. Our brush, oh, I think I need that on the next one too. All right. Then I have an evening evergreen card base, which is half of an 8½ by 11, scored down the center and folded for 4¼ by 5½ inch card base. And my Sahara Sand will layer on top of that. Oh, that's from the white bee. I was going to say I didn't know what I got on my stand there. And then I had some of the 8½ by 11 Vellum Sheets. And I also had some little leftover bits in here, which came in handy. I had a couple of pieces, just the right size, to cut out my window background. Again, I wanted to add a little bit of design or texture behind it. And so I have, and this isn't available any longer, but you could do this with just a white gel pen as well and make some softly falling snow. I ran mine through the embossing folder, but I will show you if you have a gel pen. That you can use that pen when it's writing and make little small dots, or as we have done plenty of times in the past. Can you see the softly falling snow? Oh, I think I put that away. I had the white re-inker, but you could also use just your white ink pad, and oh, I do have an aqua brush there. I see it. We used those the other day, Friday, I believe. And I was using our chalk markers and playing with those a little bit. So you can use just some of the Whisper White ink. I have a little bit of pink still on that brush. And just splatter some of your white ink from a paintbrush onto your vellum. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get that clean, and now I've got pink on stuff. Ah, goodness. I don't think that's quite as prominent. There's a bunch of little speckles there, but they're very slight. Well, I guess you could see them. So if you want a bolder pattern, you use maybe a gel pen, and then for something a little softer, just use some white ink. I don't want pink to get in my white at all. I do like my white ink pad too. So that is 2 extra ways to make some snow. But since I did have my softly falling embossing folder, that's what I used to do my vellum. I've used the coordinating dies. And this is actually the centerpiece of when we cut out our window frame. So I've cut my window frame out of white, just basic white cardstock. And then out of evening evergreen. Sorry, kind of lost my little frame. I just had it in my hand. Oh, right in front of my eyes. Oh, do we do this every single time? So out of a small piece of evening evergreen, I laid the insert into my frame and cut that out with these dies. And that gives you your insert for the window. I guess I have a suggestion when you're going to cut the center out for your window. If you're doing them out of different colors, you'll have to separate them, of course, like I did. If you're going to do this out of the same color, you wouldn't have to take it apart. But I would try to line this up before you get it onto your paper so that you have an even border between your frame and the insert. And just to add some tape on there, because it does shift around a little bit when you're die cutting and you're trying to keep your border around this frame a little even. So if you add a couple pieces of tape, then when you layer that onto your cardstock, you'll get a nice even border. Okay, and then you end up with all these little square pieces, and I actually used all of those little white square pieces, those rectangles, to cut my trees and my little car out with in my hillside. So we'll get to that. Okay, so we have and this vellum piece is the inside of the frame. So if we were to take that and the white, so I had used 3 different pieces, and they're all small pieces. So I guess I could give you a measurement. The window is only about 2 3/4 inches wide and about 4 inches tall. So 2 3/4 by 4 out of each color that you're going to use. So I did my outside frame from basic white. I did the insert with my frame out of evening evergreen, and then I did 1 frame out of my scrap vellum, and then ran it through my embossing folder. And then these will all layer up. Okay, so those 2 pieces, because there are a lot of dies in this, and actually I think there's like 16 dies, quite a bit. Okay, then out of one of those little white rectangles that I had left over, I used just this hillside and cut a corner of basic white so I could make a snowy hill in my background outside the window. And that's going to layer behind there. Okay. I also used the long rectangular die, and out of basic white I cut a windowsill. So that's a layer across the bottom. And then I have stamped and used the coordinating dies to cut the set of 2 trees and the single tree. I did those out of soft succulent. Okay. And then I used Poppy Parade, and I stamped and used the coordinating die to cut out my little car. And I only did this all ahead of time so that I didn't have to shake the table and the camera quite so much, because there was a lot of die cutting. So there's the little car. And then I used, I think it was basic gray. Yep, basic gray. And I stamped and then used the coordinating die, and that's what this is, in case you look at your dies and wonder what you're supposed to do with those circles. I cut those, and this leaves a little bit of a ledge between the 2 wheels, so we can glue that to our car easily. Okay, so that was all of the stamping and die cutting. I used From Our Heart to Yours, and I stamped in Poppy Parade. And the only thing else we're going to stamp is there's a little swoosh. Just a swoosh. Right here, this tiny little hillside. I'm going to use some Sahara Sand and stamp off one time and just put a little bit of a stamped shadow under the car so it doesn't look like he's climbing up that mountain. Oh, and normally I would start putting my pieces together and then add this to my card base last, but because we do have quite a few layers here and everything kind of layers inside of the other piece, I'm going to put my card base down first for my first panel on my card base. Okay. And then on my original card, I had some new spray adhesive that I wanted to try behind the vellum because it dries clear, and it did dry clear, but it's really sticky. As a matter of fact, my fingers are so sticking together. So I realized I really didn't have to do that because my inside frame from the window is going to cover up some of that vellum. So I would be able to just put glue along that outside edge and we won't see it. So I'm going to take my basic white window and center that on my card first, because all of these pieces will layer inside of the other. They are rather narrow in places on some of these, so I'm just going to use my little tweezers. And if you have the little embossing tray with the embossing buddy, there are tweezers in that as well, and I just don't want to get glue all over like I did on the bottom. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Then we can layer our snowy vellum in the background. And I think what I'm going to do then is just use my fine tip glue and go around the inside of this frame. With my shaky hands, making my glue go all over the place. And I'll be able to layer that inside. And see, even if this shows behind the vellum, it's not going to matter because we're going to put that green frame over it. So did y'all get to do something exciting this weekend, or did you just try to stay cool? It was pretty hot and humid here. Sunday was up to, I think, 83 before noon even. So we were kind of hanging out inside. We went and did some grocery shopping in the morning, and that's it. We're hanging out inside. I'm really complaining because I'm a summery person. I don't like the snow. I hate the snow, as a matter of fact. As I'm sitting here and I'm going to put on a snowbank. What I did do different, I cut this one at a different angle, and I'm not happy with it. So I am going to have to shake you up a little bit. This one might work. It's dirty. We're going to cut a new snowbank. So I guess I can show you. Let's just get that die, and I will show you how these all cut out. So let me apologize to you before I start shaking you all up. I tried to not do this, honest. I forgot that I cut that one hillside funky. I didn't like it. Okay, this is the two window panels together. So here's the white, the little white rectangle from the center, and that's what we're going to cut that snowbank out of. Then there's an inside where I dropped my outside frame somewhere. Don't know where. How could I have dropped it anywhere? Oh, there it is. It flew. So here's our whole piece that I cut out of that basic white. So you could see how we put the window together, see? And then these are all the little bits, of course, for the glass in the top. So you can do this all out of one color, or you can do coordinating colors, whatever suits your fancy. All right, I need that little hillside again. And I think why I got it so big before was I was trying to make the whole hillside fit on my paper, and I don't really need to do that. I just need a little bit of a hill right there. And because this is such a tiny die, I'm going to just use a piece of tape and tape that down, because it does kind of move around. Where's my original card there? I want to kind of see where I put it. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, up about there. So there's a ton of stuff you could do with this stamp set and die. There's a little house in there. I actually considered making a church behind this window on the snowy vellum. Red tape is pretty sticky. It's not really temporary tape. Okay, so back to our card. Now this will fit right down into the window and make a cute little hill. So here are a couple of soft succulent pine trees. And I see this one is a little taller, so I'm going to use my swoosh, I think, and do a couple swooshes by the tree. Okay, I put our window ledge on, and we have to put our tires on that little car so he has a way to get up the snowy hillside. And then I'm going to hold my car on top of that so I can see where I need to add those little marks. Since maybe I'll put this one down here a little bit further since I had to move my trees down. So it'll be the same, but a little different, as usual, right? Okay, so let's put my little swooshy mark. My scrap paper over here because I did stamp off one time. So I need to put this here for the car. Oh, some tough stuff. Probably could have glued it all down first. And then I want one here for my trees. Geez, we quit doing that. And I guess I'm going to stamp this one off twice. There we go. Now I can glue. Did I just hit you in the head with that paper? I'm so sorry. And forever I'm hitting you, huh? So now we can add our little pine trees. I do like in the catalog, they showed that the one design had the single tree cut in half lengthwise and then laying across the top of the car. That was cute. Be this one. And they just cut it, or maybe they just glued it right on there. But since I'm making this like this is sending Christmas wishes in the car, I didn't want to make it a Christmas tree like I was bringing it home. I wanted it to feel like either someone was coming to this house or somebody from this house was going to take good wishes to another home. Cute. So here's our little. And then on the inside, we can add. Oh, and I don't know if I have my basic white inserts cut. May happy moments and wonderful memories be yours this season. See, here's a little house. Isn't that cute? I wonder how could I make that a church? Just not do the chimney part, not stamp the chimney part. Well, I guess a church has chimneys, huh? Maybe put that on top like a steeple. I'll have to play around with that one a little bit. Okay, so anyways, there's our snowy outside in the daytime card. Cute, cute. Now we can do our wintry nighttime. Hope I'm talking loud enough too. My throat's a little bit dry today. I know it's sinusy, but geez. Sinusy's getting a little old. Okay, so this is our evening window scene, and oh, I will have to bounce you around again because did I already? I did not. I was going to show you the embossing folder. Okay, so my background paper is made with this new metallic and shimmer 6x6 sheets, and there is basic black with white and silver in it, evening evergreen with gold, and I guess this is Cajun craze and pumpkin pie and white, looks like. And they have kind of a textury feel to them. They're a little shimmery. Pretty. Great for making outside scenes. Okay, so again, I used our little window die, and out of Sahara Sand, I have my outside frame out of the shimmery metallic, and this is the evening evergreen with gold, and basic white will be our inside of the frame. Oh, I didn't cut out everything. I guess I did save some stamping and stuff to show you. What did I get ready? I'm also using an evening evergreen card base again. And I did cut out the bow and the flames for the candle. Oh, I guess we have a few things we do have to do. All right. So this is 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of basic white, and again I wanted to add a little bit of texture to the background, so I used the Stripes and Splatters 3D embossing folder. Obviously this doesn't go the whole way across our paper, but we can move it. And it would fit into the mini cut and emboss if I weren't doing a full panel for the front. If I were only doing a 3-inch wide strip, it would fit in there. I think my plate's crooked a little bit there. Okay. Oh, I'm going to take my cutting plate out. Certainly don't want to cut, do we? Nope. Is this I need my blue plate. I always forget what my sandwich is. That would be it. It goes through so much easier when you use the right ones. Okay, now I'm just going to move my paper over to get those last couple of lines onto my basic white, and I am lining up to the black line that's across the bottom of the embossing folder. Turn this around to put the folded edge of our folder through first, just to help eliminate extra pressure on our embossing folder. And I think the rest of the stuff we can do with the mini cut and emboss. Oh, maybe not the holly branches. Don't remember if that's small enough. Okay, put my blue plate away. Put my cutting plates back on. And set that aside for a minute. Okay, so again, I felt that my basic white was a little bit too stark. And so I kind of did the same thing. I just used my Sahara Sand, the blending brush, and painted the walls. Gave it a little bit of color and dimension here. Because this has such nice ridges in it, it makes those lines on the background paper stand out really pretty. I know I'm shaking up all over the place today. There, so we have a little bit of color definition to the back. You could use whatever color you want if you don't want Sahara Sand. I wanted something somewhat neutral, because I'm using the green and the gold. Alright, where's all my pieces cut out so I can see where we're at? We have that. That'll be our first panel here. That. So we need our holly branch across the top, and we need our candles. Put my embossing folders aside. And Evening Evergreen. Oh, and I need my piece reading also. Okay, and my candles. I think I stamped them off on the first card I did, but I kind of like them dark. I'm going to leave them. Okay. Oh, and the holly. And so I get that stamped while I'm at it. I used my piece of basic white that I had for my hallway when we cut out that other window. So, get another scrappy do here. Yeah, I was kind of excited when I found that spray adhesive for vellum, and I'll show you on that last card. It did work well, but it's really sticky. Guess that's the point, right? Adhesive. Okay. See, I don't like leaving my stamps on my blocks. I just did this yesterday, but I left it sit overnight until I was going to do the video today, but it gets so hot then that they are hard to get back off of the block. Okay, need that. I'm done with the candles. Done with my swoosh. That's a little stamp. I don't want to lose it. And piece. Let's stamp that. I think it's gonna fit. Oh, one on here too. I'm stamping Peace, also in Evening Evergreen. So that one's done. And then I just kept the other one out for my inside, but I have to cut some inserts, so put that away for now so it doesn't get too tight on the acrylic block. Right, I think I got them all put away. See, this also has the little dots on here that you could make your snow. Could do those out of a pretty, I don't know, maybe either a pale blue or a, I would use my excuse me, I would use my white ink pad for sure, but if you don't have white, you know, a pale blue or a maybe like a light gray that's stamped off once. Now we need holly, or I guess I should just call it a garland, right? Because it's not really holly. Right. And for my greeting, I found out of the mini pocket envelope dies, there's this cute little oval. We've used this stuff out of that die set quite a few times actually. Boy, it's so cloudy out there. I didn't think we were supposed to get rain today, although I'm not complaining. We need it really bad. Yeah, so it's looking really dark right now. These two out. And what was the other thing that we had? Oh, our candles. I bet I can get all three of these on the cut and emboss at one time. What do you think? Candle, candle, candles. The noise you hear off to the side is my stand that my camera and light are on. I always put my sticky tape on there so that I have it handy when I go to cut. You're never going to get away from the shaky that I do every week, huh? Always find something else I need to cut. Well, that'll be good if we got everything done there at one time. That will be it for the earthquakes. Okay. See? Candles. Put my dies back. It's the only way I can do it so I don't lose things. I do apologize for the few minutes that it takes, but if you've ever lost a die, you know how heartbreaking it is. So to count everything or put it away and realize you're missing something. found most of the ones that I ever misplaced, but still is not a nice feeling. So we'll just take a second and put them away. Okay, I think we have all of our bits. So let's glue down our wall to our card base. And I'm using Tombow multi-purpose glue, very thin streams of glue. So when you see everybody scraping all over the place like that, that's why. We're just trying to get a thin coating of glue because you don't want it to show through your cardstock and as lines. Now this is textured, so of course it's not going to show through, and we need that little bit of liquid adhesive to make sure this adheres good. But it doesn't take a lot. It's only paper. So now we want to keep this one a little bit closer towards the bottom because we do have the garland to layer on top. Let's get our window frame put down. Trying to get that centered. Now we can put our outside sky on that metallic shimmer paper. That layers in really nice. And we can layer the white frame. So I hope my hand won't shake as much if I guide it along the table here. I'll add that to our window. Lots of little bits and pieces to have fun with in this. Okay. I do have my window ledge of the same Sahara Sand as the frame. Remember, you could do whatever color you want to do. Now I can add my garland on the top of my window. You could add dimensionals here if you'd like to. I was trying to keep my cards kind of without dimensionals because there are a lot of layers. And even adding that embossing to that back panel makes a bit of a difference. So I just didn't feel like, oh, pull that right off because my hands are getting sticky. I have to wipe them off to continue, or I'm going to pull my pieces right back off. What a waste. Put them down, put them off. Silly girl. Okay. Then, let's get our candles ready. We'll need to add our gold flames, and I just cut this out of some of the gold metallic cardstock. Oh, what am I doing? I'm putting that on the wrong thing. It's not on the candle yet. There we go. Candle. Flames. Cute. we can add glue to the back of this. And set our little candles in the window. I'm going to add those right on the ledge. Try to get those centered up. Oh, I lied right there. I did put dimensionals behind my greeting. Yeah, I did. You don't have to. We'll add a little gold bow, also just out of the same gold metallic paper, and I'm going to add that right on top of my garland. Just in keeping with our gold accents there. And then let's get some mini dimensionals and add our little peace greeting. Oh, my hands are so sticky. Between that spray adhesive and the Tombow. Good grief. And then I just centered that in the middle of the window. And there you are. That's our little nighttime window. And I already lost the daytime one. And then what I was trying to do, I had some of this, if you remember the flocked paper that we had with the poinsettias, I believe. I have some of those panels left over, so I layered a piece onto my evening evergreen. And I have these frames left from when I cut my centers out for our nighttime sky window. And I thought that would really be pretty, almost like a church window, just with the candle sitting here, right? And then I'll have to cut out a whole lot more. And then I was thinking, and I know I do, and I will find it. I have a die that is half of an arch somewhere. I found one in my ornate frames. But this is big. This is too big for peace, and that's what I was going to put on here. So I'm sure I have the other die. I just have to figure out what set that was from. And then I thought I would add peace in here, and maybe even gold emboss it and add it. Wouldn't that be pretty? So that was a simple one. So here we have it. Window wishes. Lots of little bits and pieces. It's a cute little tree here. I like this one too. That'd be pretty white embossed on a dark background. I like the wreath. I like it all. I like it all. So thanks everybody for being with me. Have a wonderful week. And stop back Friday if you're not doing anything, and we'll do some more paper crafting, have a little bit of fun, and maybe even a laugh. Bye.